Why is the relationship between the United States and Africa important? Well, we'll start with a viewer in Liberia who answered our question in this letter of the week. William Kokulo from Liberia writes, the relationship between the United States and Africa is very important. This allows Africa to build bilateral relationships with America that will see U.S. support to infrastructure development, strengthening security sectors, and promoting liberal democracies in Africa. Well, that was William Kokulo in Liberia who stated that indeed the relationship between the two is pretty important, something others disagree with. But before we move on to those comments, thanks everyone for using all our social media platform to communicate with us. Just a quick reminder that we are tweeting live today. Just use the hashtag VOA US Africa Affairs. And if you haven't yet, do follow us on Twitter. Speaking of it, let's go to a tweet from Peter Isaac in Tanzania, who says that in my perspective, I see there's no advantage in a relationship, but the crackdown only in Africa. Well, another tweet from Jean-Louis Cain Tenkore from his handle at Kaiza writes that Africa's complexities and challenges have been at the bottom, but at the same time, full of hopes for better days ahead. Let's look at one more tweet while we are at it. This time it's Emmanuel Kachele, who said, yes, it is, but this U.S.-Africa relationship will be more meaningful if it takes Africa to better economic levels. Well, we'll leave Twitter and turn to our Facebook followers with this post from Miyanda Mpaka Laiti from Zambia, who writes, America is a superpower in technology that Africa needs. Their research is above board, and their science discoveries provide medical solutions to Africa. Well, we have a wide range of opinions here. You can pick and choose where you'd like to start.
Linda, your reaction, please.
I think the question is a very loaded question because it asks about the relationship between Africa and why this relationship should exist. And it should exist, I think your viewers gave us some great ideas, but more importantly, these relationships are important because of the people. They're important because of the connections between the people of Africa and the people of the United States. The United States has the largest Africa diaspora population of any country in the world.
Perhaps with the exception of Brazil.
Perhaps Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that large Africa diaspora, we must remain connected to these countries, and the individuals who come from these countries must help us keep those bridges of connections open. But I also agree that being where we are in our development and looking at where African countries are in their development, that we can help Africa move up the development ladder. The kinds of medical research that the last responders spoke about, I think is key to helping Africa move forward in dealing with some of the issues that Africa is dealing with. And take the Ebola crisis. Africa could not deal with that issue alone. We could not deal with that issue alone. And the three countries who were burdened with the Ebola crisis could not deal with the issue at all because of their lack of capacity. So those relationships helped us respond, but it also built a coalition around the continent to help these countries respond to something that was extraordinarily difficult and devastating to the population.